Welcome back to Mr. Guard's maths class. This is the first lesson in a series of lessons talking about angles. This one is angles at a point. A lot of what I'm about to explain to you is very much worth your time in recording and writing down these words. So what you see on today's lesson, you should probably write down because a lot of this is going to be information that you will need to know and you'll just need to know it. So let's go. This first bit in blue, I've got an angle drawn up here. It is commonly written as angle ABC, or if you think about it, angle CBA. What is important is that the B is in the central position. So you can follow this line if you watch my cursor. You're going A to B to C or C to B to A. One other way that we can write this is sometimes we abbreviate it to just say angle B. That little kind of angle line represents that we're talking about angles. Now, over on the left, I've got 6 different names for different types of angles. Now, you'll have to kind of bear with me. I couldn't write 89.999, but an acute angle is anything greater than 0 degrees, because 0 degrees would just be a flat line, up to 90 degrees, but not including 90 degrees. So anything from 0 to 90 is what we consider an acute angle, like the one we sort of just looked at. Anything less than 90. An obtuse angle, which you may remember, is anything over 90 but less than 180. So often they look kind of like that. A right angle is one that is at 90 degrees. We often write that with a little square there, like so. That represents that it is a right angle. A straight angle is 180 degrees, just like that. A flat line, as if it's been opened up to be straight. A reflex is a bit like an acute or an obtuse, but instead of the internal angle, it's the external angle. It's greater than 180 and less than 360. A revolution is 360. It's the whole way around, like so. The next bit that you need to know are these 4 words: complementary angles, supplementary angles, vertically opposite angles, and a perpendicular angle. So what's important about complementary angles is that it is it's 2 or more angles that when put together make an angle at 90 degrees. So these 2 angles, when combined, make 90 degrees. This is really important to remember. Now, I think of C as representing 90, and you'll see why in a minute. Supplementary angles are any angles that when combined, something like this. I do multiple little symbols to represent that they're all different. Those 4 angles there, I should have written add to 180 degrees. So again, I think of the S as 180. It's up to you how you remember the difference between complementary and supplementary. But complementary, I think of as C coming in first in the alphabet before S, and therefore 90 comes before 180. That's just a little trick that I have. You might have something totally different. Whatever works for you is awesome. Vertically opposite angles, when you have 2 angles like that, they're both straight lines. This angle and this angle are matching. Likewise, this angle and this angle are matching. So it has to have 2 straight lines that cross over in the shape of an X. And finally, perpendicular are when we have an angle at 90 degrees to a flat, a bit like how a wall is at 90 degrees to the floor. So at 90 degrees. Right. The very last bit that is worth noting are your bearings. As this is all connected, as bearings are what we often see on a compass, depending on what side of the planet you live in. The sun you might want to angle your house towards the north, but we're not necessarily talking about it in that respect. We are going to be looking at it from an angle perspective. So often when we draw a bearings map, we have north pointing up, east to the right, south down, and west to the left. What's really important to note is that these are at 90-degree angles from north to east is at 90. So naturally, what do you think north to northeast would be? That one is therefore going to be 45 degrees in that half of 90. Means we have the ability to work out, if you wanted to walk in a westerly direction, having been facing south, you could turn 90 degrees around to your right, I guess it would be, and face the west. Likewise, where this sort of purpley line is, I think it's that colour, that's going to be 135 degrees. 3 lots of 45. Just worth noting for future reference. That's it from today's lesson. Thanks for listening.